Good morning, students. Today I am going to discuss chapter number 1 of macroeconomics. Basically, there are two parts of your syllabus. One is macroeconomics and another is the Indian economic development. Both are of 40 marks and 20 marks are of the project. Of the macroeconomics is some basic concepts of macroeconomics. It means in the chapter number 1, you will find that definitions of some concepts which are used in the macroeconomics. There are various concepts used in the macroeconomics like aggregate demand, aggregate supply. But before knowing the meaning of the concepts used in the macroeconomics, you must be able to distinguish between macroeconomics and microeconomics. In class 11th, you have studied about the microeconomics. And 12th, we are going to study about the macroeconomics. Basically, micro and macroeconomics are two parts of economics. These were bifurcated by Ragnar Frisch in 1933 into two heads, microeconomics and macroeconomics. Before going into the depth of the lesson, let us start meaning with macroeconomics. If you are not able to understand the meaning of macroeconomics, you are not able to understand the concepts used in the macroeconomics. Macroeconomics, it is a part. You can say it is a part, or you can say it is a section, or macroeconomics is a part, section, or division of economics. It is a part of economics which studies. It is a part of economics. Macroeconomics is a part of economics which studies or which deals with which studies economic problems, economic variables, and economic relationships, and economic relationship at the level of whole economy. The word whole is important in case of macroeconomics. Level of whole economy. First of all, try to understand the meaning of macroeconomics. I am telling you there are two parts of economics. One is called microeconomics, another is called macroeconomics. Microeconomics syllabus in class 11. Macroeconomics, it is the syllabus for your class 12. Now you try to understand the macroeconomics meaning. There are certain problems at the level of whole economy. Macroeconomics is a part of economics. It is a section, it is a division, it is a separate part of economics which studies. What studies macroeconomics? It studies economic problems. Now, in the 11th class, you have studied about the meaning of economic problem. The problems which arise due to scarcity of resources. This is known as the basic economics problem. It not only studies the economic problem, but economic variables. Now, what are the variables? The things which are going to be changed, which varies, known as economic variables, and the relationship between these variables. So, in the macroeconomics is that part of economics in which we study economic problems, economic variables, and economic relationships at the level of whole economy. The main thing is whole, means at aggregate level, means at the level of whole country, at the level of whole nation, at the level of whole economy. So before going into the concepts used in the macroeconomics, try to understand that what is macroeconomics. Macroeconomics is a part of economics which studies economic problems, economic variables, economic relationships at the level of whole economy. For example, if the question is demand of one person, it is not the demand of whole country, it is not demand of the whole nation. We are only talking about the demand of one person, saving of an individual, consumption of an individual. These are the part of micro. Micro means small, micro means microscopic word. It means the things which we studied at the level of whole economy, that will come the parts of macroeconomics, and the things which we study at individual level, that become the part of microeconomics. But we are talking about the macroeconomics. Our syllabus is concerned with the macroeconomics. So try to understand that when our, suppose the question is of 1 mark, what is macroeconomics? Simply write macroeconomics is a part of economics, a subsection of economics, a division of economics. It is a separate part of the subject which studies economic problem, economic variables, their relationship at the level of whole economy. After knowing the meaning of some macroeconomics, now I am going to discuss with you the basic concepts, basic parts, basic components which are used in case of macroeconomics. There are certain concepts which you must be able to understood when you study macroeconomics. Now question arises, what are the main concepts used in the macroeconomics? This chapter starts from the meaning and types of goods. Basic concepts include thousands of the concepts which are used in the macroeconomics. But in your syllabus, as far as your syllabus is concerned, it discusses few concepts of macroeconomics, and the first concepts where your syllabus starts, the meaning of goods, meaning and types of goods. First thing is meaning and types of goods. Meaning and types of goods. Now, question starts from here, chapter starts from here. What are the goods? All those things which satisfy human wants are known as the goods. But services also satisfy the human wants. Now, what is the difference between goods and services? I am again telling the meaning of goods means all those things which satisfy human wants. When they are durable in nature, when they are not perishable in nature, known as the goods. But sometimes there are some services which also satisfy human wants. So now the question is, what is the difference between goods and services? Goods are those things which satisfy human wants directly, and they are also durable in nature. They are also seen. They are also touched. They can be touched. They can be seen. They can be transferred from one place to other place. But as far as the services case is concerned, what are the services? Services also satisfy human wants, but services cannot be seen. Services cannot be touched. They cannot be transferred from one place to other. Let's take the example. For example, the services of a teacher. For example, services of a lawyer, services of a chartered accountant. These are called services because the benefits, facilities provided by the teacher or a lawyer or a chartered accountant are not seen, but their presence can be felt. So goods presence can be seen, goods can be transported from one place to other place, and goods can be stored for a period of time, but services cannot be stored, services cannot be transferred from one place to other place. So let us start. What is goods? What are their types? In your syllabus, we start from the meaning of goods. So all those things, simply write beta, the things which, goods means things which satisfy human wants and also have the quality of durability, also have the feature of storage, also transported from one place to another place, is known as the goods. Now question arises, what are the types of goods? If I ask you, tell me what are the types of goods, you will tell there, sir, these are the table, chair, bread, butter, these all are the goods because these are the seen. Cloth is also a good, your notebook is also a good. But in economics, we have clearly bifurcated what are the types of goods. So in the bifurcation of goods, let us start first from consumer goods. Now question arises, what are consumer goods? Consumer goods are those goods which satisfy human wants directly, or consumer goods are those goods which is used by consumer to satisfy his wants directly. For example, you use milk, They satisfy your wants. You use bread, you use biscuits. These all are consumer goods. Now, consumer goods are not of the one type. There are also bifurcation of consumer goods. Now, how the consumer goods are bifurcated? They are bifurcated on the basis of time period. Some goods are used one time, some goods can be stored, some goods cannot be stored. So, consumer goods are basically, if the question is what are the consumer goods? Simply writes, consumer goods are those goods which satisfy consumer wants directly. Now, the consumer goods may be of the following type. A part, durable use consumer goods. Durable, as the name clear, durable use consumer good. Durable use consumer good is that good which is used by a consumer for a long period of time. For example, if I purchase a sofa set, it can be used 5 years, 6 years, 10 years. I purchase a motorcycle, I purchase a car. This is known as the durable use consumer goods because it is used by a consumer for a long period of time. But there are certain commodities which are used by consumer for 1 year or slightly more than 1 year. The goods which is used by a consumer for 1 year or slightly more than 1 year known as the semi-durable consumer goods. Now give the example of semi-durable consumer good. You can think and give me the example of semi-durable consumer goods. If you think that the clothes you are wearing that may have they continue to 5 years, 10 years, it is not. The shoes which you are wearing will continue 10 years, 15 years, not. It means semi-durable goods are those goods which is used by a consumer for a period of 1 year or slightly more than 1 year, like the clothes, shoes, crockery. These all are the examples of semi-durable consumer goods. Third type is single-use consumer good. Single-use, or you can say non-durable consumer goods. Non-durable consumer goods. Non-durable consumer goods are those goods which is used by a consumer one time, which is used by consumer during a single act of consumption. The goods which is used by one time for single act of consumption known as a single use consumer goods. For example, biscuits, bread, milk, these all are known as the single use consumer goods. And one more concept you must be studied in this, that is known as the services. Suppose one more question asks, what are the services? Services are those intangible things. Services are those intangible things which satisfy consumer wants directly, but these cannot be seen, touched, transfer from one place to another place. So the first type of the goods is consumer goods. These are those goods which satisfy consumer wants directly. And this is the bifurcation of consumer goods. The consumer goods may be durable use, may be semi-durable, may be single use, or may be services. Now we switch over to the another concept, another type of commodity, which is known as the capital goods. Second type of the commodity is capital goods. Capital goods. Third type is producer goods. Producer goods. Fourth type is the intermediate goods. Intermediate goods. Goods. And fifth type is final goods. Now, final goods. And I discussed with you the meaning of consumer goods. Now I am going to tell you the meaning of capital goods. Third term is producer goods. Both are slightly similar. There is some difference that I am going to tell you. Capital goods. These are those goods which is used for further production. Basically, capital goods are used for further production or production process. Capital goods are those goods which is used for further production. These are those goods which is used for further production or during the production process by a producer. Now, the capital goods are used by a producer for further production. Who makes the further production? Producer. And what is further production? That is production process. Production process. So, capital goods are those goods which is used by a producer during the production process for further production. You can integrate these three words. You can learn these three words: producer, production process, further production. It means capital goods are those goods which is used by a producer during the production process for further production, for further making of other goods. Now, my one simple question is, what example you can give me of the capital goods? What are the goods which is used by a producer during production process in making of other goods? Simply visit to a factory. You find that there are lots of the things which is used by a producer in the production process of other things. That may be machinery, that may be tools, that may be equipments, that may be the plant which is used, that may be the machine, big machinery, small machinery used by producer for making the other goods. But at the same time, not only machinery is used in the production of other goods. Suppose you visit to a factory, you find a large number of stock of machinery. Do you find that the only machinery can produce the other goods? No, only machinery cannot produce the other goods. It also requires raw material to make the other goods. Means combination of raw material plus combination of machinery makes the other goods. So capital goods, I am strictly limited to my concept. Capital goods are those goods which is used by producer for further production of other goods. Now, if I switch over to the producer good, these are also used, because I am saying that these are also used for further production. Simply, if I ask to you, tell me the meaning or tell me the difference between capital goods and producer goods. Both are similar because both are used in the further production of other goods. But there is a great difference between capital goods and producer goods. Capital goods are fixed assets of the producer. They are repeatedly used in the production process of other goods. They are used by a producer for a long period of time, whereas producer goods are used in the production of other goods, but they are not repeatedly used. They are not used for a long period of time by a producer. They cannot be stored for a long period of time to make the other goods. Now, if I simply ask you, the sugar cane and machinery to make the sugar, these are the two different things. Sugar cane is also required to make sugar, machinery is also required to make the sugar. So how you differentiate between capital goods and producer goods? Student, try to understand. I am saying both capital goods, producer goods are used in making other goods. But how these two, why we not use only one term, that is capital good, why we not one term, that is capital good, why we not only use producer goods, why are we making 2.3? It means there should be some difference between two. If capital goods and producer goods are the same, then why I should write at number 3? I should simply say capital goods only, then the matter is over. But I am not going to over the matter. I am making point number 3, producer goods. Simply listen. Capital goods and producer goods are basically two different concepts. Producer goods also used by a producer for further production. Capital goods are also used by a producer for further production. But basic difference between capital goods and producer goods, that producer goods are basically think that it is a raw material and non-durable in nature, as well as cannot be stored for a long period of time, whereas capital goods are those goods which are fixed assets of the producer, which are used by a producer for a long period of time in the further production of other goods. At the same time, capital goods are of the high value goods. For example, nuts and bolts. Nut and bolt are example of capital good, but they are not of high value. So it should not be included in the category of capital goods. Capital goods and producer goods. I expect that you are able to differentiate between capital goods and producer goods. I am repeating my concept. Consumer goods are simply milk, bread, which satisfy our wants directly. They may be durable in nature, semi-durable, non-durable. That are the different matter. Where the capital goods, producer goods are used by a producer for the further production of other goods. Depends upon the nature of the goods. Whether it is fixed assets of the producer, whether it is durable assets of the producer, whether it is of high value or its longevity. So the capital goods are those goods of the producers which are used by a producer for a long period of time in the production process. Now I'm going to talk about the fourth concept, that is intermediate goods, and fifth is the final goods. Now, what are the intermediate goods and what are the final goods? before telling you the meaning and difference between intermediate goods and final goods, I am giving you the example. Sugar and sugarcane, cotton and cloth are these four words which I am saying. Sugar, sugarcane, cotton, cloth. All these four words, are you thinking same meaning or have some difference? Suppose I am using the word sugarcane, and another word is the sugar. At the same time, I am using the word cotton and also using the word cloth. Does these four words convey the same meaning to you? No, because sugarcane means used for making sugar, cotton is used to make the cloth. So, what are the intermediate goods? What are the final goods? Basically, intermediate goods are those goods which is used to make the final goods, which cannot be directly consumed, which cannot be directly used by the consumer for satisfaction of their wants, whereas final goods are those goods which can be used by a consumer directly for satisfaction of human wants. Now, suppose the question is of 2 or 3 marks. What is difference between intermediate goods and final goods? Simply, intermediate goods and final goods. These two are the difference. Now, final goods. Simply understood the meaning of intermediate goods and final goods. Now, intermediate goods and final goods. Intermediate goods are those goods which are not included in the estimation of national income. The word is not included in estimation of national income. Estimation of national income. National income is also known as the NNPFC. Whereas the final goods are those goods which are included in national income. Now the question arises, why intermediate goods are not included in national income? Why final goods are included in national income? Because there is concept of double counting problem which you will study in the next lesson. Double counting problem is that problem in which the value of same product added twice in the national income. When value of same product added 2 times in the national income, first time in the form of intermediate commodity, second time in the form of final commodity, is called problem of double counting. Double counting means when value of one product we add in the national income, first time in the form of as a raw material, second time in the form of final commodity. It will create the problem of double counting. So if we include the value of intermediate goods in the national income as well as value of final goods in the national income, it will create the problem of double counting. Suppose the value of sugar as well as sugarcane, both are included in national income, cotton as well as cloth, both are included in national income, it will create the problem of double counting. So only value of final goods to be included in national income, but our concept is restricted to difference between intermediate goods, final goods. Simply states intermediate goods are not included in national income, whereas final goods are included in national income. Second concept is production boundary. Production boundary concept. Production boundary. Now, intermediate goods are inside of production boundary, and the goods which cross the border, which cross the boundary of production line is called final good. These are the outside of production boundary. Now, what is production boundary? Production boundary is nothing. It is an imaginary line which is used to distinguish between intermediate goods and final goods. So all the goods which are inside of production boundary is known as the intermediate goods. The goods which cross the production boundary is calculated, is called final goods. Now the third is the most important. Value can be added in the intermediate goods. In intermediate goods, whereas value cannot be entered, not value entered in the final goods. In the intermediate goods, you can add the value because you have purchased the raw material. For example, you purchase the timber of rupees 400, make the sofa set of it, sold in the market of rupees 600. It means you have added rupees 200 in the value of timber, but the value cannot be added in the final goods. Final goods, where we cannot add the value in the final goods, whereas value can be added in the intermediate goods. One more thing is, intermediate goods cannot be directly used by a producer or a consumer, whereas final goods are directly used by a consumer or producer to satisfy his wants.